What's up, friends? Welcome to another edition of In the Box Live. I am here with my homeboys. I got Andres over here. I got Dookie Love down here. And over here somewhere is the legendary Daniel Krawisz, a.k.a. Cosmos Stagittarius. How's it going today, fellas? How y'all doing?
You know.
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to have you, Daniel. You know that. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we got some cool stuff planned today. We're going to talk about the halving on its way, and we're going to do some bold predictions on the future of BSV, some cool articles we want to go over, and we're going to talk about what's coming up in the next week or so here on In the Box, and we're going to wrap it all up today with some good old-fashioned Twetch culture daily.
I like having better than having. I know having is like the correct
term,
but the having sounds so much better.
Yeah, I think it's almost kind of like maybe a noun versus a verb kind of thing, you know, like to have, you know, it's a having that that is happening. Does that make sense? I feel like you can kind of interweave them as necessary in a way.
Well, it's like Invader Zim, because they had the foodening on planet Food Cortia.
Yes. Look at Daniel over here.
That sounds good.
Hip to his Invader Zim lingo. I like that. That is awesome. That is awesome. So let's get into this. Let's talk about this halving and what that all means for not just the BTC community, but for our BSV community as well. You got any insight on that, Daniel? You want to kick us off with?
Nope. I thought, well, originally we were going to do introduction to Bitcoin, but I didn't have time to finish the presentation that I was designing. So I just have some, I have an article by Craig Wright that I thought we might want to look at that has some interesting things in it.
Yeah, so
that sounds spicy.
So for everybody that's keeping up, basically the deal is that Daniel was going to do a super sweet presentation about an introduction to Bitcoin, but it's just not ready yet. So we're going to wait on that and just kind of pick his brain about all kinds of stuff today instead. So that's your open invitation to drop some super awesome questions for Daniel in the chat while this is all going on.
How old is this article? When was it published?
It was just published. It's from May 4, so today.
So this is 0 Day Wares from Craig Satoshi, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and we can go ahead and jump into that if you want to, man. I'd love to hear about that, to be honest.
Okay, sure. Okay, can you see it?
Do you get insulted when I call him Satoshi, being that you're the real Satoshi, or is that okay?
Oh, well, no, I'm not the real Satoshi.
You see, that's exactly what the real Satoshi would say.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, yeah, but that's also what somebody would say who didn't want to be sued by the real Satoshi.
he's got a good point, you know. He really does.
Ooh. Daniel's always one step ahead with his Sagittarius self.
Oh my God.
Hey, you can't control what other
what
people.
That's like what he said about coding, right? Like you got to be a step ahead. If you're debugging, it's already too late, right? I mean.
Yeah. Well, and
so you're debugging as you go along right now.
Yeah, with capital markets, you always want to be ahead. That's kind of the goal. Like with coding, you can still finish a project even if you're not one step ahead. It just takes longer. But in the market, the being ahead means that you gain money, and not being ahead means that you lose money. So
fair enough. So
it's only good if you're ahead in capital markets.
That's the name of the game, right? Can't spell getting ahead without capital.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult for me to get to a point in my life where I'm not calling you Satoshi, though. So just prepare yourself mentally for that.
Okay, well,
yes.
As long as it's clear that I am not claiming to
he
be
does not
Satoshi.
endorse
How
this.
about Bitcoin Jesus?
Well, but that's Roger Ver. Plus, I don't like Jesus. I'd rather be Bitcoin Satan.
You're the Bitcoin Emperor. Isn't that your correct title, though?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Emperor Bitcoin. I like that.
Satoshi, the Bitcoin Emperor.
That's a good title to have.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some Genghis Khan shit, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I came up with Emperor of Bitcoin because I could see, well, everybody I knew in Bitcoin, I realized was a phony. So I decided to be the biggest phony.
That's great.
So
awesome.
This article
are you a bigger fraud than Josh Petty?
I don't know who that is.
He doesn't know who that is.
Who is he?
Furthermore, you could never be a bigger fraud than Josh Petty.
Do you mean Coin Yeezy?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot his last name. No, I know who he is. I just forgot his last name.
Yes.
Oh my God, I hope he's not watching.
Do you guys remember that time that Daniel completely forgot his name?
Josh.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that is awesome.
Names. That's a good question. I am definitely a bigger fraud than Josh Petty.
Wow, you heard it here, guys.
Wow.
I thought that is not an easy thing to top.
Solid Snake says that you're Princess Mononoke Elk Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, we're off to an incredible start here, everybody.
I would concur with that statement.
Oh man! All right. Well, now that we're got that out, man, go ahead, man. We're taking up too much of your precious time here. Whew, that's funny.
Oh no, this is fine. So this article is called "Money is Time and Energy," which is an interesting title, but I don't think that the rest of the article really is about that. And Craig talks about why inflation is bad, and I agree with him on that. But his view of money in this article, I think, is not what the Austrian school thinks about money. And I have this video here from that you can watch with him and me in it from 2018, where he told me that he is an Austrian economist. So I think he needs to study harder because I don't think that this article is Austrian economics.
Okay.
Do you think this article was written because of conversations you and him have had?
No. Well. Okay. Let me go. I'll skip to the end because there is one part that may be responding to something that I said. So. He said it's not about replacing intermediaries or what they call trusted third parties.
Hey, to clarify really quick, because I was wondering too, and they're asking in the chat now, you said Austrian. Did you mean Austrian or did you mean Australian?
No, I mean Austrian.
Okay.
No, Austrian economics is the school of economics that I follow. So
Okay.
I'm an Austrian economist, and that I think that. I think that mainstream economics is basically a scam, especially the Keynesian school.
So can you just explain that for me? Like, I don't know anything about that, frankly. So can you tell me? Yeah.
Okay, no, I'll talk about it. No, let's go over that really quick. So first of all, you should go watch the videos that I did with Ryan X. Charles, and I did 2 videos with him on the Austrian theory of money, and there's like the value of money and the value of Bitcoin. And so I recommend those, and they're in the Money Button channel. But Austrian is a school of economics that arose in Austria, but now it has proponents all over the world. And the Austrians have a theory of economics that is closer to being like game theory. So mainstream economics purports to make economics like science. So like science in the modern sense, whereas Austrians don't believe that is possible.
Okay.
So in economics, you cannot have a controlled experiment, and Austrians believe that attempts to study the economy statistically or observationally will result in seeing whatever you want to see, because you can only see causality when you can separate out part of the phenomenon that you want to study and control it. So we have the controlled experiment in physics and chemistry and biology, which means that we can look at causality directly in these systems, but you can't separate out a part of the economy. The economy is holistic, and so Austrians say that economics is not science, or it's not an experimental science anyway. Sometimes Austrians will define science in a broader way, which is something that just means knowledge. So Austrians do think that they have knowledge of economics, but they don't think that that economics is an experimental science. What they think is that we can postulate things about causality because we know that people behave according to incentives. So we can think about an economic system in terms of how the people in it are being rewarded and punished. And we can think about what will happen in this scenario based on what the optimal strategy is going to be. So over time, better strategies will win out. We can predict something about what will happen based on that. Austrians also don't believe that you can predict an economy accurately, or like you can in physics. They think that you can have a general idea about what is going to happen, but it's really only the entrepreneur or the investor who knows about the real details of the system, right, who can predict the future. So mainstream economics or economists attempt to predict the economy in the way that physicists trying to predict the results of particle physics experiments, but Austrians say that it's really only if you're part of the economy that you can know that. And well, the economy itself is a future prediction contest. That's how I describe it. So you apply your knowledge to the economy, and it's only the process of making money in the economy that where knowledge of the future can be gained. So Austrian theories describe the economy. They describe how causal factors relate to one another, but they do not provide perfect predictions. So I hope that made sense.
No, yeah, that definitely clears that up.
Craig
totally get it.
has said that economics is all about incentives. So that's good. I agree with that. But his view of money is not the Austrian view in this article. So anyway, but let me first talk about this sentence here at the end, because this was actually what I was going to start with on my presentation on introduction to Bitcoin. So
is this what snubbed you off from that? Is this where you were like, I gotta talk about this before I do an introduction to Bitcoin? This sentence?
Well, I was thinking of when I saw this, I wanted to talk about it, but I just didn't quite have time to fill in everything that I wanted to talk about. So first of all, I want to talk about what they call trusted third parties. So I looked this up because I learned that there is a difference in how a trusted third party is defined legally from how it's defined in cryptography. So the white paper says no mechanism exists to make payments over a communications channel without a trusted party. So now I guess Craig doesn't like the trusted party phrase. And so what I learned from about law is so that well, first of all, in Black's Law Dictionary, it says that a trusted third party is a fiduciary body. So I looked that up, and it basically means trusted. So a person is a fiduciary who is invested with rights and powers to be exercised for the benefit of another person.
Is that kind of like a power of attorney or something like that? Or
yes, I think so. Oh, by the way, I'm not a lawyer, so
yeah, me either.
So I'm just learning this stuff too. So hopefully Craig will watch this and will correct us if we get something wrong.
I certainly hope he does.
I'm sure he'll watch it.
But I saw something interesting in the definition of trustee. So here it says trustee is also used in a wide and perhaps inaccurate sense to denote that a person has the duty of carrying out a transaction in which, and there's something wrong with the way that they read in the definition with their computer vision, which lie and another person are interested in such a manner as will be most for the benefit of the latter, and not in such a way that he himself might be tempted for the sake of his personal advantage to neglect the interests of the other. In this sense, directors of companies are said to be trustees for the shareholders. Sweet. So I think there's another problem with their computer vision here. I don't know what that is supposed to mean.
Sweet.
But,
what do you mean? What's it supposed to mean? It means sweet.
It's like sweet.
Sweet.
Dude.
Yeah, sweet.
Dude.
Hey, let me tell you something. That is, like, I know this is a little bit off topic, but there's another definition for trustee. Trustee is somebody in jail
I knew you were gonna say that.
Tell me you weren't thinking it, Dookie.
I just knew you were gonna say it.
Okay. Well, I've never been one because that's not, you don't want to be a trustee in jail.
I have.
Trust me, no pun intended, you don't want to be a trustee.
My goodness.
Okay, well, what does it mean?
Yeah, you got to fill us in now.
Well, the trustee means that you do a lot of nice things to help out the correctional officers being an inmate or whatever the case is.
You get, they give you a cigarette.
Yeah, you might,
okay.
you might get a special job in the kitchen because,
Yeah.
that's trustee privilege, or they'll give you a job in the rec yard, in the gym, that's like a high level, or maybe, you want to move up to mechanic or so, yeah. But the thing
Get back to Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, according to Wikipedia, in cryptography, a trusted third party is an entity which facilitates interactions between two parties who both trust the third party. The third party reviews all critical transaction communications between the parties based on the ease of creating fraudulent digital content. Okay, so the cryptography definition of trusted third party is it corresponds to the inaccurate definition of trusted in Black's Law Dictionary. The accurate definition is invested with rights and powers to be exercised for the benefit of another person. So over here, I have my picture of the problem that Bitcoin solves,
Which made it into the CoinGeek presentation, if I recall. Or maybe this was.
That guy Josh Petty. I don't know if you know his last name. He's not very well known by his last name.
Shut up.
Don't mind him.
I'm gonna get in so much trouble tonight.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before.
Yeah, whatever, that guy. That one guy.
Anyway, so I put Twitter in the middle, and Twitter is a trusted third party in a cryptography sense, but not in a legal sense. In a legal sense, it is just an intermediary, because Twitter does not have special rights, and with rights means buying shares where the purchaser has the right to buy more shares in the next share issue. So I'm not sure if that's exactly what is meant here, but Twitter doesn't have anything like that. So I thought that this was interesting that Craig said that Bitcoin is not about replacing intermediaries or what they call trusted third parties, but because in order for I mean, that's kind of what Bitcoin does. So I don't know why. I mean, that may not be the purpose that he was originally envisioning when he came up with it. But I think in order to make Bitcoin successful, we have to advance Bitcoin in every direction that it can go. So we're there's my small world network picture. But we're replacing the trusted third party of Twitter with Twetch, and we can replace lots of other trusted third parties over the internet and compete effectively with them. And that's a way to advance Bitcoin. And Bitcoin can do that. So that may not be the original idea, but Bitcoin is bigger than the original idea, I guess. Yes. So back to money. let's see. Okay, so here is Craig's definition of money. In money is time and energy, and he says money is simply a means of mapping obligations. So I want you to compare that to the definition of money according to Austrians, and this is from Ludwig von Mises' theory of money and credit. Money is the general medium of exchange, the thing that all other goods and services are traded for, the final payment for such goods on the market. And make note of this final payment part, because right now we don't have money according to this definition. Have a universal medium of exchange. We don't have a thing that all other goods and services are trading for, but we have different goods that are competing for that position, and within a subset of the global economy, some of these monies, some of these proto monies are like money, but they're not universal. But the final payment thing is kind of important, and to me it seems like Craig disagrees with that. So he says, with barter, individuals trade goods and services at a point in time. The scenario can be extended using contracts and simple derivatives such as futures agreement. Here, one individual could trade a cow to be delivered on the same day as the agreement is concluded with another party, except, did I read that right? Here, one individual could trade a cow to be delivered on the same day as the agreement is concluded with another party, accepting an obligation to deliver 10 sacks of barley 6 months later. Such forms of agreement are in themselves money. So,
Sure.
I think that this is not what money is at all. Now, in Austrian economics, money arises out of barter, and Craig is saying that when we use something like a futures contract, then we're creating money. But what I say is that when a good is arises as the general medium of exchange, that's money. And it doesn't have anything to do with a futures agreement. That's a completely different thing. And when we have money, we still trade goods and services at a point in time. So remember what I said here. It's the final payment. So so if we make an agreement to finalize a transaction in the future, money is the final payment. It's not the agreement that we make before final payment. So in this scenario, I would say that the 10 sacks of barley is the money, and it's money if everybody uses barley for final payment.
Correct. That would make it a collaborative unit, right?
Yeah. Right. And it's not the agreement to trade barley for later. So according to how Craig thinks about money in this article, he would say that a check is money, not the not what you get when the check clears.
Oh, I see.
But that's kind of the whole problem that we had with gold, is that gold was money. The banknotes that are promissory notes for gold is not money, according to Austrians. The gold is the money. But what I think Craig is saying here is that the banknote is money, not the gold. And so what? Excuse me?
In theory, would it not sort of both be money? I mean, money would be anything that people would deem had value, and if you deemed that banknote had value in some way, would that not be considered money?
Well, yeah, that's what happened effectively, is that the governments gradually removed the gold backing from the banknotes,
I think,
and people still used what the banknotes evolved into, which was just paper money,
right,
as money. Right. So
is that like a gold standard type thing, or
yeah? So I'm talking about a gold standard back in the day.
I believe Nixon's the one that changed.
Yeah, Nixon got rid of final. Well, I mean, you still couldn't get payments. You still couldn't get your dollar's worth of gold when Nixon was around. You could only do it. You could only get it if you were like a foreign country or something.
Really?
But he severed the last remaining ties between the dollar and gold.
By the way, I just want to pull this comment out, and I thought it was kind of funny. And it's WW Ocean. He's always in our stream. Big ups. Thank you so much for always coming back. He says, Australian economics are centered around use of the magic 8-ball.
Yeah.
And Fosters. They use Fosters for currency there.
Okay. Well, next I want to talk about this means of mapping obligations. Because I think that there's another problem with that. Let's see, there's another quote in here. Okay, so yeah, here's what I really disagree with. Well, I disagree with everything I talked about so far, but I think there's a really big problem here. So what and this is the problem with the mapping of obligations view of money. So I would say, so first of all, I would say that money, well, Bitcoin as money is a mapping of obligations, because the registration of Bitcoins in the blockchain is it says what you have a right to spend. So I think that the miners are obligated to recognize that right to spend and process transactions, and that's kind of the service that they're supposed to be providing. And if they don't, then the money is no good. But money is not an obligation from the standpoint of the person holding the money. So, like, back up here, he's saying there's an obligation to provide a 10 sacks of barley 6 months later, and that's money. But if you just have the 10 sacks of barley and you haven't agreed on anything to do with them, that's still money. If the barley is a general medium of exchange and there isn't any any obligation there. There's an obligation. So later he talks about grain being stored in warehouses and tokens being used to represent grain. So I think there's an obligation on the part of the people storing the grain to honor those tokens. But you could also just have the grain in your possession and trade with that directly, even if it's less convenient. And then there isn't an obligation. But with Bitcoin, there's no way to have Bitcoins in that sense because it's an imaginary good. So Bitcoins only exist as tokens that represent them, digital tokens, right?
Yes.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But, so money is a mapping of obligations if we're talking about Bitcoin as money, but it is not if we're talking about the Austrian definition of money. So, okay, well now, okay. Okay, he says a bunch of things here. I don't remember the other part that I highlighted earlier, but these are also good. In the long term, the total money supply will reference the total amount of goods as we value items and measure inflation. And here he says the amount of free money at any point in time references the amount of free goods and services that are available. If we produce less and consume our stockpiles, the amount of money available in society will not have decreased and may have increased, but the amount of goods and services that are being chased by the same money will have diminished. Okay, so what I disagree with about this view is that money is valued, or I should say, if you are the optimal strategy with money as an investment is based on future productivity, not or future production, not present production. And when you have money, the reason you have it is not what's there now, it's what will be there in the future. And I think that this view of money, let's say, oh, here we go. Balanced, the amount of money the amount of money that is available in society at such a point in time, balanced against the amount of goods that are available, sets the exchange rate. So this view of money says that money is about present production. And to me, that means it doesn't explain why people need savings. And to me, savings is the main thing that money is for. Like, if money isn't good for savings, then it's good for nothing. And it is the function of money as savings that enables a good to transition from just one good among many things that are being bartered to money, the general medium of exchange. So when you have money, I think that you shouldn't be thinking about the amount of goods that are available. What you should be thinking about is the amount of goods that will be available in the future, the whole future, from now up to infinity, discounted by your time preference. So farther out futures are less important than the nearby futures. But you're not thinking about money correctly unless you're thinking about future production, and you've got it wrong when you're thinking about present production. So my question for Craig is, what are savings for? because I don't think that his theory of money can explain them. And that pretty much goes over. Well, there's a bunch of more stuff in this article about why inflation doesn't work, and so I agree with that stuff. But money isn't about what exists now. Money is a future prediction contest. So, and it's not an obligation to have money. If you have money, you're expecting that other people will want it. They don't owe you anything. You're just you are future predicting that they're going to want that money, and they're going to be producing stuff in exchange for the money. So that is my response to money is time and energy. And
can you show us exactly where that is located in case anybody wants to read it themselves? I see it's CraigWright.net.
Sure, I'll just post it in the chat, and
Perfection.
You can include it in the in the description of the video.
Is definitely
later on.
what I will be doing.
And I'll include the other things I linked to as well. So, by the way, this article that I found on the Ludwig von Mises Institute, this is by Murray Rothbard. So if you want to learn more about my theory of money, you need to read his book, Man, Economy, and State. I think that's the most advanced theory of money. But you got to be careful because Rothbard actually says some stuff in that book that implies that Bitcoin is impossible. So I don't think his theory of money is entirely correct either. But I think it's the best theory of money.
So it's the closest. It's the closest for you.
Sorry, yeah, well, maybe I'll have to write my own book eventually. I haven't had time, but yeah, Rothbard's theory is the best. But it's a good thing that Craig Wright doesn't like Murray Rothbard, because if he liked him too much, he probably wouldn't have invented Bitcoin.
That's fair.
True. Very true. This has been pretty spicy here.
Yeah.
This is some spicy meatball.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know that this article even existed. So I'm really glad that you brought that up for all of us too. So thanks for that, man.
Well, Daniel is our zero wares guy over here.
Yeah.
If it comes to 0-day Satoshi shit, hit up Cosmos. If you're not following him on Twetch yet, @24 is his user number. He's the man, the Bitcoin emperor.
24.
The biggest fraud. The biggest fraud there. The biggest fraud I know.
Yeah. I'm a much bigger fraud than Craig Wright, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Same.
So you heard it
Wow.
today. You're a bigger fraud than that guy, Josh. What's his last name again? I always forget his last name. That guy,
Josh Petty.
Josh Perry.
Josh.
Oh my God! I hope he doesn't see this.
Jeff.
Is he related to that?
Who is that?
Jeff Perry.
I'm so bad
That
with
Katy
names.
Perry chick?
Excuse me?
Is Josh Perry related to that Katy Perry chick?
Josh Berry.
I don't know.
Cosmos is like, who's Katy Perry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who celebrities are. I don't follow that stuff. I'm pretty sure that's a celebrity.
He'll
But
break down the
yes.
Austrian economics for you all day, but don't ask him who Katy Perry is, man. That's a dark horse right there.
So a little bit more about. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got into Australian economics and what took you that way?
Sure.
How do you find it?
Well, yeah, good question. Well, let's see. I don't remember. Well, yeah, I remember I learned about F.A. Hayek from a website that I think is very important and that I like a lot, which is called the Friesian School. And it's at friesian.org. And this is an online philosophy journal that's mostly written by one person named Kelly Ross. And I think he's a very important modern philosopher. So I learned about F.A. Hayek from him, but Hayek is more important for his political ideas. And as an economist, he was kind of, I was going to say he was kind of wishy-washy, but he was kind of wishy-washy on everything. Like he tries to please everybody. So he's a little bit in between on everything.
He tries to get in every market.
Yeah, but I think that his political books are more important than his economics books. Although he did write the denationalization of money, and that's what's going on now. So that's really important. So let's see, and I guess I learned about the Mises Rothbard branch of the Austrian school when I got into the Libertarian Club at UT, and they're more hardcore in their branch. So I think that Hayek's ideas on economics are kind of eclectic, but the Mises Rothbard branch really only likes their own way of thinking about economics, and they're big sticklers for using their method, which is kind of what I described earlier. And I basically think they're correct, and I think that the neoclassical method, such as it is, isn't able to arrive at knowledge, at least not very easily. So the Austrian school is considered to have begun with Karl Menger. His book is really important, and it's very readable and good, and it's called Principles of Economics, and I would recommend that one a lot. But he had some precursors from France. There was Jean-Baptiste Say and Bastiat, and those guys are both really good, and they pretty much think like Austrians too. So I don't know. Oh, well, Menger is considered to be the father of the Austrian school because he came up with marginal utility. So that's kind of an epochal innovation, and all later Austrian theory comes out of that. So right now I'm reading another book called Capital and Interest by Bovark, and that's a really important one. I'm not very far into it yet, so I can't tell you too much about it, but it's about interest. Well, it's about capital and interest. That's the title. So I didn't help explain it.
Right? Some points, right?
But he argues against Marx and many other important economists from around then. Well, I mean, I think Marx is only important because he tricked people. I don't think he actually had important ideas.
Didn't he live off of his uncle?
Yes. So Marx was a narcissist. So I recommend a book by Paul Johnson called Intellectuals for info on Marx's life. And Marx appears to have been a narcissist, at least from the account in that book. And he, which means that he overvalued his ideas, and he believed that he was always right. And he also had very strong cognitive biases. Well, that's kind of obvious if you think you're always right? But he projected himself onto his enemies. So he said that capitalists are parasites when really he was a parasite. And,
I mean, he never worked a fucking day in his life, right? He just lived off his uncle, and his uncle got so pissed one time, right? Because his chick was dying, right? And then Marx came asking him for money, and I think that's the one time that his uncle was like, "Get the fuck out of my face, you piece of shit parasite."
Yeah, I haven't heard that story, but
yeah, I think I saw that actually on Stefan Molyneux.
Yeah, and so Marx's theory is basically, so in Austrian economics, profit is the reward for planning. Planning and acting on your plan, because it's the action that is the risk taking. If you just have a plan and don't do anything, then you don't make profits from that. But if you act on your plan, you're taking a risk, because you're using goods in a way that could have been used for something else. And so if you don't use those goods in the best possible way, then you make a loss. But if you use them better than other people would have, then you make a profit. So in Austrian economics, the capitalist is the planner, and profits is the reward for intelligence, for better planning.
The positive consequence, right?
What?
The positive consequence.
Right, yeah. And so Marx couldn't understand that. So he said that capitalists don't do anything useful. So the result is that he came up with an economic system that doesn't reward intelligence. So you can see that that's what happens when you have a communist economy from looking at history, and that's not a controlled experiment, so it's not absolute proof, but I think that that's what's going on. If you look at history, you have an economy with no intelligence, because nobody has a reason to act on their intelligence in a communist economy.
But bro, you ain't Yang Gang, bro. You ain't a Bernie, bro.
No, I don't really like Yang. I don't know what a burning bro is, though.
Not Bernie, bro. That's Bernie Sanders, bro.
Oh no, I don't like either of those guys.
No.
So Marx believed that he was the most intelligent, like he was the only intelligence that anybody needed, essentially, because he imagined an economy that doesn't need intelligence, because he thought that he had already figured everything out. And so if you watch my video transformations, what I say is that
is that on your channel? Is that available?
That's on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't subscribed to Cosmo's YouTube channel, there's some freaking gems to watch on there. Let me tell you something.
It's true.
Oh well, thanks. Yeah, go and watch it. You learn. Those are my instructions. The channel is the Emperor of Bitcoin, telling the minions how to advance Bitcoin. Although there are a couple of videos that are not very good. So I'll just say uses for tokens is something that I got completely wrong. And also the one on prediction markets, which is called evolution. So I don't believe in prediction markets anymore. Like what we have in Bitcoin is better than a prediction market already. So you can skip those ones. But
before we move on, I want to just
wait. I didn't finish the sentence I was in the middle of before. Go ahead. I was just saying, in my video transformations, what I said is you have to learn that you're not the most powerful force in the universe. And so Marx didn't learn that. In his economics, he is the most powerful force in the universe, and he can't imagine. He doesn't imagine the need for any further intelligence after him.
So you're telling me Marx is not all we need?
That's right.
He's not I thought he was like the all. I thought that was it. I thought he saved the world.
Well, I'm glad you have disabused you of that view.
socialism. We've tried it so many times. The only reason it failed was because it turned into communism, right? I mean,
we'll
really
get it right
have
next
never
time.
tried socialism, right?
Yeah.
It's never really been implemented, right?
Yeah. Well, the problem is that all of these
thank God, we still got a chance, Marx. We still got a chance.
All of these sociopaths take over. It's really supposed to be just for narcissists, but Marx didn't envision sociopaths taking over.
He didn't envision having a job either.
Right.
What is your take on stupid investors?
Well, they lose money, and that's kind of how it's supposed to work. So,
do you think they should be protected?
No.
All right, I can't keep ignoring these guys in the chat. So some good stuff here. Price is Wrong says on old bills, and this is quite a bit earlier. He said this for kind of how it all fits into the conversation, but he says on old bills it has the phrase legal tender for all debts, public and private, redeemable for lawful money at any Federal Reserve Bank.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good point. So what they're saying on those old bills is that silver is money or gold is money. We had like
but the note isn't.
Right, but not anymore. Now it's legal tender.
Right.
Based on the faith of the federal government.
Right. And another one here, Inside Out asks, is Bitcoin just going to be the standard, the thing that other things are valued by? Is that what you believe or think or know?
Yeah, I mean, to me, a function of money is the unit in which prices are recorded. And money is the general medium of exchange, as explained earlier. So I say if we're maximizing the value of Bitcoin, that's where we're supposed to be taking it.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I'm just looking through here, seeing if there's if you were elected into a leadership position to guide the world and they would listen, would you take it? Emperor.
No.
I mean, you're already the emperor. What more do you need?
You run for president.
Ludwig von Mises said that if he was appointed dictator, his first action would be to abdicate. So I agree with that. But I mean, I will say, well, maybe if I was elected president, maybe I would default on the national debt and then abdicate.
I like it.
But then that means you actually had to run for president, right?
Well, not necessarily. You can vote for anybody. So hypothetically, you could have somebody elected who never ran.
Pencil in, whatever it's called. Write in.
Yeah.
And a follow-up from Price is Wrong. Legal tender is now recognized. Legal tender is now recognized as government-sponsored enterprise, aka Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was that guy's name? Ben Bernanke? That fucking asshole?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. Ben, you're a great guy. If you ever watch this, you probably won't because you're a loser. It's true. That guy is like the orchestrator of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Well, I think a real leader is someone who's ahead. Is not somebody who is appointed. He's just somebody who has gone where other people need to go. So I would say that I am a leader in that sense. That's my claim. I mean, we'll see what happens because I don't really know for certain. But I mean, I think that in the market, you don't know who the leader is other than except post hoc, right? So you know that somebody was the leader because he was somewhere first where everybody else had to follow eventually. But there isn't an appointed leader. There's people who are trying to be the leader, and we only find out who was the leader later on.
Well, one thing, you are the leader. Boost, right? Boost pal.
Well, that's something that people could choose to use So if everybody uses Boost POW, then I was the leader, and I think they will. I think Boost POW is a stable strategy, so I think eventually people will have no choice but to use it effectively.
How long before Twetch?
That. Yeah, I know.
Well,
it's been you said like a month, like week or so ago, right?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things that have to happen first. Right now, we don't have Boost incorporated with the main mining pool software, so that's what I've been doing for the last couple of months. There's a whole lot that I have to do for that, and well, right now I don't. If somebody wants to be my C++ helper, we can.
Hire Andre.
I'm starting with HTML right now.
Yeah, he's not good enough for that yet. But
no, not yet. One day.
Give him a week. Give him a good week.
A week? I've been trying to get him to be good at Twetch Culture Daily for 2.5 months, dog. Are you kidding me?
Watch tonight. Wait for tonight. No, I don't have Chrome Cam on.
That's right. You don't even have a background, man.
If somebody does want who's good at C++, that would be really great. Contact me. But yeah, I have to put the Boost system. I have to incorporate it into the rest of the mining pool. And then we have a system that can offer difficulties automatically that are as high as Bitcoin blocks, or they're in proportion to Bitcoin blocks. I don't think somebody would want to buy that much, but we can offer difficulties at the same rate that blocks are being paid for. Well, plus we'll have to take some profit out of that, but that's nice. Inside Out says he's going to start learning C++ for me, but yeah, it takes a while to get good at C++. It's better if I had somebody who was good at it already, but and then once that works, then Twetch can start incorporating it, and I'm not sure what their plans are or how far along the design is, but they have assured me that their plan is to incorporate it when it's ready. So I'm really excited to see that. And another thing I want to do is make a site that is similar to Reddit, that because that's kind of like where the upvote got started.
Yeah.
But we're kind of far away from doing that. But yeah, I think I'm a leader with Boost, and but if I'm the leader, that means you're not going fast enough. So
I really could see an app like Reddit being built with the Twetch SDK too, like that. I feel like that wouldn't be that hard to kind of make Twetch look like Reddit in a way and act like Reddit.
Yeah, the only thing is I want my site to display all known boosted content. So you can boost anything. I would just want to display everything. But
literally anything that's been boosted on BoostPow.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Not specific to that site itself.
Yeah, just everything.
Okay, that's cool.
And some of it would just look like garbage, but it would still be there because we wouldn't know what it is. It's not like we know that you boost a hash, right? So it's not like necessarily the case that the data which hashes to that value has been revealed anywhere that we would know about. So, but I want to show it anyway.
Yeah, that's really cool. Excited for that.
I'm excited for Twetch Culture Daily. I think that's gonna be sick.
That's what I was thinking too. Do you guys want to maybe take a little 10-minute, 5-minute break soon, and we'll? I
think we still got time. We got like another good 10 minutes. We can run another if we do it at like 12:30. I got a few links here for Cosmos as well to take a look at. Maybe he wants to go over them during.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and thanks for having me on today. I don't have any other. Well, since you're going to ask me more stuff, I'll be happy to talk about it.
No problem. If you look in the chat that we're in the Discord, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links in there for you for Twitch Culture Daily.
Oh, okay. You couldn't have done that before we went live? That's fine.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if he'll come on, but it's perfect. They're right in there. They're all for Cosmos that he could check them out since he's going to be on. It's going to be super cool. Yeah. It's going to be tight work.
Just gotta hope
okay,
that
I just loaded these.
Possibly messing up the stream, everybody. Don't mind me.
It's alright. Been amazing so far. I don't think it'll be an issue. I think people are having a good time. They got some laughs.
Okay, do you want me to share my screen again, or are you gonna share them?
This is what
No, I'll be I'll share screen.
He's gonna be sharing screen on this, but that way you could see the Twetches.
Yeah.
I think they'd be good to touch on since it doesn't incorporate boosts. It'll give you a chance to talk about those Twetches.
Actually, there was an argument I had with Connor. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I put it in there for you. I think it wasn't. It was just more like, what if you had more money? And you mentioned that was more about difficulty, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about all that. I don't see the argument with Connor that I had over here. It'd be good if you could find that.
For what it is worth, gentlemen, I have like a lot of Twitch Culture Daily stuff. So like 20 plus links. So
sweet. So you want to do the break now then for a few moments,
well,
and then we just
that's what I was thinking. We don't have to do it right this very second, but it should probably come pretty soon because otherwise we're going to be here all night. And I know Dookie Love's got to get that beauty rest, you know.
Oh man, I'm dreaming in my bed right now.
There you go.
I'm about to let Cosmos take my spot on TCD.
Oh, don't do that.
No way.
No way.
He's coming on anyway. We're all gonna be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Once a week segment is good for me. I don't think I could do this every day.
No. Just for tonight, he's saying he
okay.
That's right.
You're replaced him tonight. Yeah, sure, I got this.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Cosmo's like a natural at this.
He is. He totally
every
is.
night of the week. We take 2 nights off.
No wonder his channel is so fire.
So what do you think, guys? You want to take a little fiver and then we'll come back strong?
Yeah. That way you get it all set up. You get your little thing set up for the scenes. I'm dying to be in that. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it should be pretty good. It's just going to take a little bit of setup, so I'm going to try to get it worked out here.
I think we need to stay away from the Coiner McKeezy one because I think that gets us fucking blocked.
No, I know. It does. I noticed.
It's so dumb.
So dumb. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Stick around for a little Twitch Culture Daily. We're going to have a little fiver. And we will be back very shortly. Thanks for watching, guys.
What is good, Twetchians? This is your homeboys from InTheBox with special guest Cosmos Stagittarius, aka Daniel Krawisz, aka Satoshi, but real name Cosmos. This is where you can catch up on all things Twitch culture, whether it's news, funnies, memes, learning how to program, introduction to Bitcoin, whatever the case is. Satoshi's wrong on savings. Who cares? You can find it here. Let's jump right into it.
All right. Now bear with me here. I got to do a little quick change here. Nobody look. Nobody look. And then we'll go like this, and we'll be into it. Yes. So, first up today, we have Derek McGill. It says 50 branching, we will have the Emperor of Bitcoin on the next Numpties. I tell you what, so here's the deal. We actually have the Emperor of Bitcoin on right now, so I think y'all owe us some branches. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, they did something really ingenious because I just asked to be on their show, and so then they they used that to exhort the Twitch crowd to give them free publicity. And they said they weren't going to have me on unless they got 50 branches. But I didn't demand.
I like that.
There's no actual reason that they needed 50 branches.
You know what? I don't like to demand anything from our viewers. Okay, we're giving this to you from the bottom of our hearts. All right.
Hey, do you think though that Karl Marx would have approved of this profiteering by them? This is bad, guys. Don't you guys know Karl Marx is the be all end all? And what you're doing here, this is profiteering. This is bad.
That's right.
Bad profits.
That's it.
Give that money back to the working people the workers.
Well, there's no need for any further intelligence after Karl Marx.
No. And I learned from Karl Marx that what they're doing is called profiteering, and that's bad, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Profiteers.
And y'all know what the original Twitch cast is. You're watching it right now. So y'all just stick with us and you'll be all right. We won't require any branches from you. But we would like them.
Yeah, like at least 50.
Exactly.
Or we're never having Daniel on again, ever.
Yo,
ever.
It's too late for that.
Hey, speaking of the OG Twitch cast, this is Degan at 3:15, and the cool thing about Degan is that he is going to be joining us right here in the box on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And guess what? We're not charging you guys anything for that.
You know what? I might actually require branches now. I like their idea. The numpties, right?
You know what?
Like
He can do whatever. I'm talking to Degan in front of God and everybody Thursday at 5 o'clock, regardless of what Andres are. Let's get it. And he says soon you're going to be able to recommend Baymail with a paid referral link, and anyone with Bitcoin Core, Tether ERC20, Alipay, Bitcoin Cash, or USD Coin will be able to use Baymail with 2 easy steps. That is pretty sweet.
That's a good. What do you think about that, Cos?
It's awesome. I set my difficulty on Baymail too high to actually receive any just yet, but eventually that's going to be feasible. Then I can use it.
Okay.
That's my incentive for getting Boost working, is I can receive Baymails when we incorporate it fully into the mining pool.
So it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if this is somehow using trade mail via Relay X to accomplish said top up and using whatever coin you want. Just curious. Oh, this is super cool. This is Marcus McMahon at 10582. He says, going to do an early release / discount promo for Twitch users. From the 5th of May, you can watch a helical for just $2 paid with BSV. It will be available for the week up to the 12th. We'll have to send promo via Twitter DM. And I actually did this. I left him a little tip down here. I'm not going to find it, but Gave him a couple bucks, and sure enough, he found me on Twitter, sent me a DM with a link inside, and that actually became available about 30 minutes ago. So when I get done with this stream, I am heading straight for that to go pass out with a little a helico going, little exclusive first watch. I'm really excited about this. I'm actually going to click his profile.
You could do a review on that for tomorrow's stream.
I very well may.
Like without spoilers or whatever.
And look,
right?
This is still going on. He is still accepting this. The helical is still available to Twetch users for just $2. Go and find him. He's at 10582. Like I said, go and find him. Give him a couple bucks. Go watch this video. His film. And I'm just scrolling through right now because he's been posting about this for like what, dude, months?
Yeah.
Like a long time, and he's posted like there's a screenshot from the film. 7 out of 10 from the Review Geek, whatever, cool things. Yeah, this shot, I actually thought that he had photoshopped something out. It kind of looks like just a like road in the sky or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's water. You see? It's a reflection. That's a real photo. Like that's a shot from the film. That's just epic.
Sweet. I like those little independent type.
Oh, I do too, and I'm a big fan of sci-fi in general. So I'm super stoked. I'm trying to find this one.
Look at the ratings that he got up there. He got some serious ratings. If that's his own, like independent ratings or whatever, a helico overall. Wow, look at that, 4.3 out of 5.
That's pretty
dude,
sweet.
For $2, dude.
You got a 4.5 out of 5 on that soundtrack. Good originality, cinematography. I mean, this is going to be awesome. What is that quote? Sorry, it says. Every single shot in the film is a mesmerizing work of art to look at. A quote from somebody that reviewed it. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I really wanted to. Yeah, this.
No, that's fine. He deserves it.
He really does.
I remember this post.
Yeah, it's time to make an album, and I think he's actually, he got that really crazy good review on the soundtrack, and I'm inclined to believe that. He's recorded his own stuff for this. I mean, this is original soundtrack stuff. He's not just plucking.
Definitely gonna have to go through the credits on there and see if he's like executive producer, director, sound engineer, all that. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching that tonight. Go check out Marcus McMahon. Definitely, really, really awesome. Stoked about it.
Cosmos, has that come across your feed at all? Cosmos, has that come across your feed at all?
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm interested in this movie. Sorry,
No problem.
I was chatting with somebody.
Stop playing Peggle while you're on my podcast.
That's it. He's over playing Peggle.
I'm very easily distracted.
No, it's all good, man.
Are you playing games on here? Are you playing games while you're on here? Are you serious, man? Where is that from?
That's from my conversation with Richard Hart. That's an important conversation. You should all watch that if you haven't.
It's a great moment in time.
It was a great interview.
Also, I really hope that Marcus McMahon watches our show because I would actually really love to have him on here. So, Marcus, if you're out there, this is your open invitation to hop in the box, man. I really want to talk to you about this film. Anyways, moving on.
I think we talked to him in the past before, or maybe we didn't get back in contact with him, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, but I sort of feel like I remember something, but yeah, we're gonna have to follow up on that. This is C-Cash at 6320. How I greet my patients, bruh. Do you even twitch? No patients were left unattended or harmed. Dr. Moist. It's pretty good.
That's the self-pronounced selfie queen.
Yes, very much.
Cash.
See Cash in the house.
Doing big. That's good, man. Good for you, girl.
And here's Mario at 6537. Twetch benefits to me. 1, I can post and earn money. 2, I learn English while I read you all. 3, I can make new friends. 4, I learn about you and your culture. Learn about you all and your cultures. And 5, I learn how to make memes. That pretty much nailed it. Oh, C-Cash just said that's me in the chat. Welcome, C-Cash. Thanks for tuning in.
Out of those, Hannibal, which one do you think is the most important? Out of those 5, pick one.
I know this is crazy, but I'm gonna go with number 3 here. I mean, it's called social media for a reason, right?
I guess, yeah, you're right.
Get on here and make some friends.
Cosmos, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
I agree with the number 3. I don't need help learning English, I don't think.
I'm like the oddball out. I like 5. I learned how to make memes. Hey, I want to be a better.
Well, that's important too. That's communication.
Definitely.
Yes.
Hey, you've stepped your meme game up though, Andres. You pimp. I'm gonna give you that.
I'm more about branching other people's, memes and making money off other people, because that's like, I think the ultimate way of profiteering is have my memers be out there and I just sit back here and say, oh wow, that's tight. And then I branch it, put a cool quote on it, like 3 fire signs or something, or like, look at these eyes. And then I get more for the branch because I'm giving my meme hoes exposure. You know what I'm saying? So my meme hoes, they work hard for me, and I make sure I keep them well, I make sure I keep their money button up, so they could keep on twitching. I make sure that I get them exposure, and I just be meme pimping on Twitch.
Speaking of meme hoes, here's Satoshi Doodle at 318.
Oh, that's a great one to meme pimp. That's
I can't believe you said that.
That's like great. That's like, and let me tell you something. Satoshi Doodles is one of my best profiting. This is like when I pimp out Satoshi Doodles with the memes that she makes, then I profit off of that. Because she allows me to, and Twitch allows me to be a profiteer.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Karl Marx.
Well, she's a great artist, and I've got 2 pictures from her that are going to be in my next videos.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but I did notice when you were going through your presentation earlier that you had a Satoshi Doodles tab up. I wasn't going to say nothing, but I think it's the appropriate time. So whatever it is, I'm sure it's awesome. Proof of work and play like that.
Oh, I should have shown you that picture that I had. Well, but that one I've already that was an old picture. But yeah, we should talk about that one sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to.
For shizzle dizzle nizzle. I pimp your posts off, Cosmo. You just don't I'll branch your posts. I make money off you. I profit off you.
You freeloader.
This is actually another person who I'd really like to get in the box and have a conversation with. Satoshi Doodles, if you're out there, give us a shout. And here's a first twetch from Ephemeral at 11/6/31. Says, greetings, fellow Twetchers. I hope this post finds you and yours well in this zombie apocalypse wasteland known as the worldwide lockdown. I have just spent the last hour getting up to speed with crypto and wallets. I thank Twetch for giving me the push. It's pretty cool first post, not gonna lie. I dig that. Hope you're staying safe out there.
That's why it got 12 likes and 4 branches, and it's got a bunch of fucking comments.
True.
Because that's what you do on Twitch. You fucking put out good content and you profit. And then a guy like me comes around and I branch you and I profit. And you still profit, but I profit.
Yeah,
it's kind of like iPhone, but I profit.
Yeah.
So Twitch,
Oh, and here's the master hoe in chief, Salty at 47 says, "I'm so sad, nothing can make me better, except Twitch."
Oh, look at the coffee with the tears. I love Pepe. Pepe Dad.
Oh, that's a funny one right there. I like that.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that.
I will say, go back, Salty. I love you. Trisha came out with a similar one prior to this one. Remember?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was.
But I like the Pepe fork off of it.
I think hers.
I'm liking this hard fork.
Hers was like the Elon Moist following you thing, right? Wasn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a girl. It was like the.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting in the subway
looking at the phone.
But she doesn't have any coffee and it's not Pepe. So I like this hard fork and I'm sticking with this one. Sorry, Trisha, step your game up.
And here's Spiffy Mix.
You got forked.
Spiffy Mix Spifferton at 5066 90% of people out there are sitting at home doing nothing and not caring, while the other 10% of us are busier than we've ever been. So much opportunity right now. Just open your eyes and get to work. This has kind of been Spiff's mantra for the past couple months. He's just like constantly calling out lazy asses and saying,
fucking drilling it.
Yeah, like over and over. He ain't playing, y'all. He ain't playing.
Yeah, well, that's really good advice. I mean, if you can be ready to create something when everybody else is fucked up, then
that's it.
That's the best time for it. Then everybody will need what you have a lot more. There's going to be less competition,
That's exactly right. Perfect time to get your shit together right here and now.
Yeah, you have to be ready for those moments.
Oh my God, this would crack me up so much. This is the Ho God, meme Ho God at 2464 says when you twetch a GIF using bitcoinfiles.org.
Yeah. I'm never gonna financially recover from this. Let me ask you a question, Cosmos. When lower fees?
Oh, we're working on that, but right now Matterpool has only a tiny fraction of total hash power, which is indistinguishable from zero at the moment. So we don't have much say over fees, but we do have files on Bitcoin files.
You sound like you're deflecting there, buddy.
Well, Bitcoin files is an incentive to lower fees because we store the files on our server until they are accepted by miners into the network. So that can be a while. And so we have valid transactions that contain files, but which don't have high enough fees to be accepted currently. But some miner can get those fees if they decide to lower fees. So if you use Bitcoin files, you can tell miners that there's profit opportunities if you can lower fees.
Interesting.
That goes back to the BTC Halving. I don't care what anybody says, it's happening.
Yeah.
How much hash power do you think is going to move back? Like, what would be your prediction? I mean, I know we can't predict anything, obviously, right? Unless you're a true psychic, right?
Yeah.
But how much hash power do you think is going to move back from BTC after the halving? What's your prediction?
I mean, I think that at the I think that hash power will be less valuable. I don't know if hash power will move back to BSV. I think that hash power will just be turned off.
Shit.
And so right now the whole mining industry, well, I mean, most of it is sort of built around the idea that the Bitcoin speculative mania will continue indefinitely. And it's all about getting those new coins when what it really needs to be about is making the network sustainable and finding uses for Bitcoin.
Transactions, right?
Yeah. And because miners haven't been thinking enough about that, they're not the economy isn't ready for the halving. So lots of miners are going to lose.
Yeah.
So, but you're saying that hash power is going to be turned off. So miners are going to lose. So do you think they would lose if they're switching over to BSV as well? With the transactions and everything right now, is it profitable? Is it profitable right now to mine off BSV with certain miners, obviously, because obviously some other ones consume more power and give you less.
Well, it's only profitable if they plan ahead and they successfully market BSV. So, I mean, I think what'll happen is the miners who don't want to think ahead will turn off their ASIC machines, and the miners who do will desperately try to market BSV. in the hopes of gaining profits later. But I mean, I don't think that very many miners are going to be profiting in the near future. But if the ones who successfully market BSV are going to make a lot of profit later.
Mm-hmm. And again, the hash power thing was something that, and again, just want to touch on it really quick, was your like analogy to antlers, right? On a buck, yeah, or whatever the case is, right? So as long as there's antlers there, it's like you said, hash power is not the most important thing. Do you still stay true? Do you still find that statement true?
Well, yeah, in nature, it's about balance. It's not about absolute amounts. So bigger antlers is better relative to everyone else. But if the other bucks are wasting too much energy on antlers, then the most fit buck will have smaller antlers, but in the long term, they'll all have smaller antlers.
Okay.
And so we're moving to we're moving from a situation where Bitcoin was kind of like a land grab, and most of the land grabbers were just kind of selling. They were immediately selling the land that they grabbed. So there wasn't a sustainable. Oh, excuse me.
Kind of like with Bitcoin, they're mining it and selling it right away.
Yeah. So there wasn't a sustainable economy being developed. So it's like a land grab, but then nobody's working the land. Because there's so much expected value in the land. So now it's going to be about working the land.
Sure.
All right. Anyways, moving on a little bit.
That got off topic, but it was cool as hell.
Yeah, very cool. This is Freedomain at 6736 says someone on YouTube recently reposted my interview with Dr. Shiva. The channel has 1% of my subs, but his copy of the interview has more views than the original one on my channel.
Insane.
Yeah, welcome to YouTube, dude. A lot of it has to do with just like he may have put in one tag that you probably should have put in but didn't, or there's so many factors that could have played into that.
This is Stefan Molyneux. This is free. I mean, and this goes again. Remember how we were talking about Danny Trejo? That he posts something, posts a YouTube video on his Twitter, Instagram, and all this stuff, but only gets so many views on his YouTube.
Sure. Yeah.
Again, this all goes back to shadow banning, censoring, gatekeepers. And I guarantee you, because if you notice, he started being a lot more active on Twitch and started posting more of his videos. But it's like you said, welcome to fucking YouTube, right?
Yep. And here's a first tweet from OIA at 6090 who says, my first tweet. And Inside Out says, it's spelled twooch.
Yeah, this ended up turning into a freaking thread of a thread. It was just hilarious. A bunch of fucking people were posting on it.
Yeah.
Branching it. It got a bunch of branches too. Holy shit.
Twooches and tweeches and twatches and wait, never mind. That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
And speaking of Inside Out, here he is at 5546. Says, I am Papabot. Feed me or I die. I want to live to reproduce and only eat BSV.
Yum 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 yum. This is actually a bot he created using JavaScript and the Twetch SDK.
Oh, very cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty well with it. He's made like $2 with it. He's gotten some pretty good responses, and now he's working on evolving this bot. And man, let me tell you something. Inside Out has been an amazing help. He actually talked me through setting up Linux, everything like that. Helped me out with a bunch of stuff. Big shout out. He helped me get the Twetch SDK on my laptop as well. So big shout out to him. And he really gave me the push to want to really start programming. He was like, man, you could do this. And I was like, I just watched the interview you did, Gage, with Dan, and I watched it, and I was like, you know what? Boom. So I wanted to immediately start with JavaScript, but I noticed that JavaScript has so much that references to HTML. So it was, I think, better for me to start with HTML over again and kind of relearn it, and then learn CSS, and then from there I want to learn JavaScript, Pi, and eventually C++. But yeah, I definitely, I think I'm finally ready to be patient enough to do it. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, he says my spawn will be better versions of me. I'm just trying to have and support my bot babies. If not for me, think of my children. So yeah, man, good work there, Inside Out. Best of luck to you. Hope that your Papa Bot does well.
My boy don't need luck. He got skill.
That's right.
Friends. Without the I and without the D, just friends.
And we're gonna take a minute to hear a word from our sponsors at this time.
Over the years, Wheaties has always been the breakfast of champions, because we've always stood for the best, with what we put inside the box and who we put outside. Today we welcome our newest champion. And we've never stood quite as tall.
So you did this with just a click of a button?
Yeah, you know, a little something for y'all. But Attila here at 205 says, correct. I wish Cosmos Stagittarius was wrong, however. I don't think it happens all that often. PAL-backed content is our only hope for better, honest online and social media. I wish that weren't true, but it is. It is the empowerment of the individual. And of course, Daniel, you say, let's enable good ideas to win. It's pretty great.
Well, I don't have anything to add to that. Do you want to talk about Entity 554's?
Yeah. He says, content is inherently PAL-backed. If it's actually good, do you think they used a random generator to produce it? Boost is fundamentally a voting mechanism, but it is a voting mechanism that doesn't reward the content creator. So is it a good one? What's your take on that? I see Attila's reply, but...
Well, it's not it's the handicap principle. So, and it's not supposed to reward. It's supposed to hurt you. It's a handicap.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
Well, handicapping golf is good. No, it's bad, but it's...
I mean, it helps you if you correctly value your content.
That's it, right.
But it's up to you to do that. You hurt yourself with a 100% probability, and you gain in the end with a non-100% probability. You gain if you use it correctly, if you evaluate your own ideas correctly. So, and it's for other people. It's not for you. It's for, like, the idea is
it's for your consumer in a way.
Yeah, right. It's for the readers.
Exactly.
It's not. It benefits you only if you provide what they want.
Yeah, if you
what's good for them.
Exactly. And then you say here, Twetch is getting so good that using the People's Republic of Twitter feels like torture. No one will want to @Jack into political manipulation tools much longer. BTW, you can't build it on any blockchain but BSV. What a scam.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
Yeah, no, I think you laid it out on the line right there. That's pretty good, man. We actually just pulled up a bunch of yours, so don't feel bad. I'm just going to harp on you for a minute. And then this says, once we can use boostpow.com, we will transition from a situation where it's easy for bad ideas to win to one where bad ideas don't win very easily anymore. I think that'll be a big change.
Yeah, well, I think that this is kind of like difficult for people to imagine. And to me, that's something that's really, really useful. In fact, I don't know what could be more useful than that. But so to me, it's a really big change. But it's hard to convey this to people. I think that the vision of what I'm trying to do isn't very easy to communicate, because I kind of have to say, like, well, ideas will be better.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the end result is sort of it's almost utopian, obviously, but it's just kind of all the finicky details that I think the general public has issues with, and just understanding in general. You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the concept of a ranking system is pretty simple, but it's so much more than a ranking system, and there's so many more ways that you can use it than just
it's a ranking system that's irrational not to use.
Exactly. Yes.
So you'd be foolish not to.
Yeah, that's what I think anyway. I think that's what we'll find out when we start using it.
Yeah, and the idea is that content creators who aren't using it are not going to be taken as seriously as the ones who are at the end of the day, you know? So it's almost like once it starts like snowballing, then you're going to want to jump on and be a part of it.
Yeah.
Is the idea.
Well, one thing I love about it is that there's so many use cases for it. I mean, you could use it in so many different applications.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
And it's insane on how cool it is. And
yeah, start building something that uses it.
I'm on my way to becoming an adventure capitalist, and I hope in my journey of becoming an adventure capitalist that I learn how to implement Boost in whatever it is that I'll be building. I don't even know yet.
You know, it's crazy.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard. Everybody who's used Attila's library says that it's easy. Well, that's just Dagan so far, I think, but Dagan said it was great. And if you do think of a use for it, don't tell anybody, because you want to get it out first.
Exactly. And you also say, this may sound silly, but I think boostpal.com will save the world. Getting it working has been all I can think about for months. It's been a very slow step-by-step process. For example, Attila made a new blockchain scanner for it. I can't stand waiting.
So Attila didn't like Planaria. So he said that his blockchain scanner, which is just called blockchain scanner, I think, he says his is better. And well, you should just get him on the show to explain what's better about it, because I don't fully know what he did differently.
That's
but
interesting.
He's a super genius. He's got everything. He's just doing everything better, as far as I can tell.
Dude, if Daniel Krawisz calls you a super genius, that's
I was just thinking the same thing, dude.
that's quite high marks.
Yes. Big brain.
Well, I'm pretty amazed by how quickly he can build stuff.
That's awesome, man. And this was a kind of a little conversation, just a comment you made that we wanted to touch on.
Yes, this entity, was big for me.
This entity 554 guy says the only hope Boost has is if people value quantity of boosts over their dollar amount. For example, 2 1-penny boosts more meaningful than one and a lot of zeros. Looks like $1 million, I guess. So $1 million boost. If they are smart, they will implement a marketing fee structure on top of boost. And you say, what's important is total difficulty, not amount paid, nor number of boosts.
So can you explain that a little bit more in detail? So if somebody puts $1,000 towards it, right, they're essentially achieving a certain amount of difficulty, right? Can you mean what you meant with that reply? Because I thought that was really big. And I want to understand this 100%.
They're not achieving a constant amount of difficulty, because there's going to be a price of hash power in terms of Bitcoin, and that's going to fluctuate. So 1,000, let's say 1 BSV worth of boost is not going to be the same thing at different times. I also deny that spending money is a costly signal. I think that money means something to the person spending and to the person who's received it. And it satisfies a double coincidence of wants. So they both want what they exchanged more than what they got rid of. But that doesn't mean that anybody else will agree that the money was worth what it bought, or really that it's worth anything. So tomorrow, Bitcoin could drop a lot in price, and it's suddenly worth a lot less. And if that happens, then it was actually a good idea to spend it. And it's not really a cost if you're spending something that's going to be worth a lot less tomorrow. It's really like your best option. Well, a cost is always something that's not your best option. So in Austrian economics, all costs are opportunity costs. So cost is always something that you can't do because you did do something else. But if Bitcoin is going to crash tomorrow, then it's not really a cost if you spend it. And that's just an example. And this goes back to my point earlier that money is about future production. And since we all don't agree on what future production is, every time we accept money, that is that we do it on the basis of our understanding of the future production of the economy, which can be completely different from everybody else's. So I think that money is a cost, but it is not a demonstrated cost. A demonstrated cost is something that can be easily verified by onlookers. So the peacock's tail is a demonstrated cost, and it's used to prove that the peacock's body is good. And so boost is spent energy, and that's a demonstrated cost as well, I think. And the money used to buy it. Excuse me? The money used to buy it isn't the demonstrated cost. So that could be totally, like, one person could pay 1,000 times as much for the same amount of boost because he got a bad deal or something. But what the onlookers care about is the cost that's demonstrated, that they can easily verify. And also, like, to me, it's the total difficulty is the sum of all of the individual difficulties of the boosts. So you could have one boost that's a lot of difficulty, or you could have many that are low difficulties that all add up to a lot. And that's what the reader, that's how we're going to rank them. That's what the reader is going to care about. And so entity 554 wants something that's more like democracy, I think. Now, there's a problem with just saying the number of boosts, because you could easily just split up one boost into many. But excuse me, even if we could verify that it was different people buying them. I don't think that it is a demonstrated opportunity cost to say that lots of individual people have upvoted your content. But what I think the demonstrated opportunity cost is that energy was lost to promote your content. And that can be one person who bought a lot, or it can be many people who each individually bought a little.
Interesting. Trying to
So
think.
what'd you think about that, yo?
I like that. Yeah, and the last thing I got today is a little conversation between you and Connor Murray. He started off by saying, since I don't own mining equipment, what is the difference between the costly signal of paying Matterpool as a costly signal versus paying Baymail / the recipient as a costly signal?
Okay, yeah, this is an important. Let's just skip all the way. I pretty much explained this earlier in the conversation, I think, but
yeah, I think you did. Really.
So Baymail has the option of setting a payment for a payment that you require to yourself for receiving a Baymail, and or you can use Boost, and you can say a certain difficulty is required for you to receive an email. So let's go back to his last statement. He says, it is in the sender's interest to do what is in the recipient's interest. If the sender wants to maximize the chance that that the recipient reads the message, and so what he's saying is that if somebody wants to send me an email, they have to pay me. And so what I responded to that is that's just manipulation. And because it's not true that anybody needs to send Connor an email, okay? If they can choose to try to get somebody else to do whatever they want, or they can choose to talk to somebody else. And
right.
If he is demanding a payment to receive a Baymail, from the sender's perspective, he could just pocket the money without reading it. Whereas if somebody was demanding Boost to receive an email, it's a Baymail, it's in their incentive to set the difficulty at the level that they want to read everything, because they're not benefiting in any way from these Baymails other than the content. Whereas if you're receiving payment, you're benefiting from something other than the content. So I think Connor is saying that people need to send him messages when they really don't. And also, receiving an email is not a service. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to pay people for it. Like what are you doing for me if by receiving my message? You're not doing anything. So I think somebody who wants to receive money for receiving messages is just wants something for nothing. Whereas proof of work is a service, because it's rational to pay more attention to messages that demonstrate more opportunity cost. So that's what you're getting when you buy Boost, is you're getting more demonstrated opportunity cost. And that's and then you're showing other people that your email is worth reading. But I think that receiving an email is not a service. So if you want money for that, I'll just email somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a cool take on that. Really cool. And that's all I got pulled up for today. I was going to.
Any?
What?
Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
No, if you had any fun kicking it here.
You're breaking up a little bit, man. I can't understand you.
I was gonna say if you had any final thoughts.
Oh yeah. I was thinking that too. Daniel, man, as always, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, thanks. And I was supposed to say something, but I forgot. You'll have to do it for me. I'm sorry. I'll remember next time.
No problem.
Oh, you've been watching, you know.
We'll go on. We'll have you swing it.
Exactly.
We'll have you wing it, swing it. Have you wing it. Go ahead, Animal.
Yeah, you know.
What are your final thoughts on this crazy show we had?
You know, it's been a lot of fun as always. You can follow us on Twetch. It's been scrolling across your screen the whole time. We're 7963. Cosmos is 24. Andres over there is 1325. And I am 6695. Dookie Love 1618 is around. Was around here earlier. And Hunter is 1673. That's it. Yeah, I was like, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyways,
right next to Rod Sirloin.
That's
I never
it.
forget him.
That's
1670.
So, twetchcast.com is where you can find anything and everything in the box. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like these videos. Go back and watch some old stuff. We've got 100 plus videos, all kinds of really cool content. As always, Daniel, thanks a lot. Andres, man, tell him what time it is.
You know what time it is, Daniel. Tell him. Let him know, Daniel. Swing it. Swing it one time for us here, guy.
I just have no idea what you told me to say earlier. Sorry.
You totally can't remember.
You're gonna say this culture fucking daily.
Oh, Twitch fucking culture daily.
Woo!
See you guys. It's been fun.
Okay, you too. Thanks. Bye.